All right, so all right, so guys, I might actually turn down the volume and not listen on voice. Maybe I'll come back. Um, but I've been recording some new videos for you guys. If you guys haven't seen it yet, the beginner's course has all new videos, really tailored into finding your trading style. So if you're brand new to trading, that course is really kind of honed in on getting you to the right rooms, which right now I'm in the penny stocks room. So hopefully you guys are in the right trading style and fit for you. Now I'm going to start migrating over into some of the other courses and penny stocks. So I'm looking at some of the videos back there and updating them. So today I might record some videos, and as I'm showing you something, might be recording it to put into a video. So this one right now, I think I'm going to start with this one's going to be doing like pre-market, how we find stocks. Everybody is different on how they find plays. But I'll show you how I kind of find stocks that I'm looking at in the pre-market, building that watch list, mapping out those support and resistance levels, and then what I'm looking for at open. Another resource obviously that we use. So there's scanners. I use Trade Ideas, and then also my Lightspeed camera, Lightspeed scanner. um, but then also like what's really great too is obviously you'll see in here throughout the morning people will talk in our Discord with just stocks that they see. So I'll build my watch list, and then other times people will have stuff on their scanners that they're looking for, and everybody has kind of different scanner criteria. So right here, typically what I just do is I use Trade Ideas. So Trade Ideas has a morning gap scan that many a times the stuff will pick up on breaking news. So if a stock has news, good or bad, people go and they buy, right, or sell, and that creates volume. I'm looking for high gappers in the morning, so the ones that have the highest gap percentage, and then those are what I watch. Doesn't mean I trade them. I watch them. So Trade Ideas is just really easy. I can just turn it on every morning, see the top gappers. Sometimes there's more gappers than others. So you'll see right over here, I have see OLB just popped up. I didn't have that one on there. So OLB I'll put on there now. You'll see it has a big kind of gap up, right? See those big bullish candlesticks? So now that's the top gapper, right? So then I have IFRX just popped up as well. PROG, ETTX, OLB, EDSA. Do I have that? Yeah, EDSA over here. And what was the other one? IFRX. Maybe I'll put that over here. IFRX. So you'll see with using Trade Ideas, there's also some really good free scanners out there. But it's hunting for the ones that are moving up, top gappers in the morning. So you'll see right over here. And then I kind of take them, and I have another screen over here. So I kind of move this. You'll see I can move this over to another screen. So I typically watch the stocks that I'm watching on another screen. And then you'll see right over here, I have my E signal, which I really like for charts for day trading. And then right over here, you'll see I'll occasionally hit this right over here. This is my Lightspeed demo account. and you'll see which is pretty cool. This is just a paper demo account, and you'll see they have right on their scanner. So depending on how your broker is and how good they are, you don't necessarily always have to pay for a Trade Ideas or another scanner. You'll see OLB, IFRX, EDSA, these five right here. If I go right over here, you'll see OLB, IFRX, EDSA, ETTX, and PROG. They're not always like for like, but most of the top ones that I'll find on Trade Ideas, I'll find on my Lightspeed. So depending on what broker you use, check with their pre-market scanners. So typically, around between 9 to 9:30, I check out and see the top gappers, see what's running, and then I kind of build my watch list, ones that I'm looking for. So I have my Thinkorswim over here. I like these extra charts over here, but you'll see I have my e-signal one, depending on when I'm streaming or showing you guys, I'll put them over here as well. I'm not a fan with e-signal that like I got to like keep zooming in on these like all the time, so it's a little bit frustrating. But if you have like a broker that you can do like multiple chart setups, just kind of have them set up how you like it, and just kind of watch the symbols. So this is my e-signal. I love e-signal just in general with my regular layout. But and for whatever reason, there we go, it paused on me. So I like them for my regular layout, but I typically like to have my on another screen here building my watch list like this, because you can see I can zoom in really quick in and out with my mouse on Thinkorswim. So basically all I'm doing is I'm looking at these stocks right here that are running in the pre-market. Then you want to drill down and see if there's news on any of them. So, I can look, and at a glance, there's tools that you can get and pay for, like a Benzinga, that you can pay for breaking news. But then sometimes a lot of the free ones are pretty good, and you'll see, when you put them in there, like you might see if news pops up, it'll say down over here, a lot of times if there is news. And you'll see sometimes with e-signal, man, they just get really slow. I don't know why they're so slow at times. So of course, as I want to make this video for you guys and put into a course, they get this really long delay. Here we go. So OLB, I don't know if there's any news on this one. Sometimes too, I'll check Thinkorswim really quick. Sometimes they'll have it. Or again, you have other tools that'll show it as well. But sometimes there is breaking news. Sometimes there's not. So ideally, I like to see stocks running up on news as well as chart breakouts. So I'll pull up these symbols. I'll pull them up where is it? EDSA. Does anybody know off the top of their head if any of these have breaking news at all this morning? This is kind of what we do just every day before the market opens. It looks like something EDSA. Do they have something here? Favorable news. So I kind of just glance down and see if there's something good or bad at times that causes news. And then you can kind of drill down into it. So I kind of glance here, depending on your broker that you use, use tools that kind of first half hour of the day. Let's see if ETTX. Okay, looks like this one has some news right here. Okay, so a bunch of news here on ETTX. And then you'll see pre-market, it gapped up to that 450 level, which then I start to see, okay, where is that going? You have a possible chart breakout. So you got kind of a couple in handle-ish pattern here on a daily chart. So I kind of zoom out and see, all right, I like stocks that have a history, like price can still go and there's levels up here, like it's not at all time highs. So I like with this one right here, you'll see in the pre-market. So that's where I drill down. And then I start mapping out these pre-market highs and lows. So I'll connect up right here. Like, so here's a peak, here's a low down here. And then pay attention, you can see the gaps, right? So gap up. So you kind of map out these levels like this down in here. So I'm just kind of connect these. What happens in the past affects the future many of times. So you'll see this is what's happening in the past over here. And I extend my lines out here to the future. And then we watch. So connect as many peaks and valleys as possible. Again, it's subjective to your trading style. I have a 5-minute chart, a 1-minute, a daily, and a 10-second. I like these microsecond charts. So I'm looking for stock breakouts on ideally here, on a daily, weekly, monthly chart. Then I look for news, map out these pre-market support and resistance levels, and then I watch price action at these levels at the open. So right now it's 9:13, so another 15 minutes to open. You'll see that's ETTX, just kind of mapping out these levels here. And you'll see down over here, then I can start mapping out a daily chart right over here, connecting those whole and half dollar amounts as well are very important. And I look left over here. So I see these levels right over here, and I just kind of connect them as a guide to see if at open, if price continues up, I look at these levels in the pre-market, and then I can look and glance at a daily chart as well and see if price is going to go up near these levels and hit any resistance levels, or see what happens, those support resistance levels. So that's kind of like the routine right here. So that's ETTX, mapping it out here. It's kind of falling at the moment, so it gapped up, and now it's kind of fading down at the moment, but we can watch these levels for support. So at open, I'll see if it holds here and then continues up, and look at these areas as resistance, or if it fails, then we watch down here to these levels. So that's ETTX. Me personally, I like stocks like PROG that are just kind of really moving up like this, but I'm not a fan of it when it's way out over here, right? So I like when it's kind of moving up and pulling back those bull flags back to those support levels. So moves up, comes back. So now again, it's kind of really a bit overextended at the moment. But you can see, just as I did it over on my other chart, I can just kind of even at a glance do it right over here. So just using Thinkorswim, I can use my drawing tools and just connect some of these peaks. I'll move it to a 5-minute chart for right now, just to kind of zoom out. Just kind of connect some of these levels here as a visual. So what happens back over here many times affects the future. So that's a 5-minute chart, kind of going up, coming right down here. That red line is the 20 EMA in a 5-minute. So you can see right here, just watching what happens here, see those lines connect out or extend out to the future. So we'll see what happens at open. Same thing with ETTX again. I'll kind of connect them up here. Those peaks and valleys, you'll see in my new video that I did for you guys the other day on support and resistance. I say connect as many peaks and valleys as possible. Peaks you would call resistance levels, valleys support, right? So support and resistance, look at those levels and then see what happens at open. So you'll see right here a PROG, I'd keep an eye on that 350, and then you can see that $half amount. And then you can see a, kind of a flat top forming there. So you have these levels down here, a bit overextended. Let's see if I look left. So you'll see it kind of broke out, kind of right up over in these levels in here. So kind of going back to with talking like trend lines and stuff like that, if you do your drawing tools for angular support and resistance, I can connect this peak with this peak out here. and then I can kind of go down here. That's kind of a megaphone pattern. Or you can kind of zoom in right down in here, connect down over in here, out to here, and yeah, kind of a rising wedge as well. So it's very important, guys, to learn these patterns. You'll see my video I did the other day about downloading our ebook and our wallpapers and learning this stuff. So there's those horizontal support and resistance levels, those angular support and resistance levels, and you just watch them, right? I don't know what price is going to do. I watch it, right? So this is pre-market. You got to be very careful trading in the pre-market, but so this is kind of what I do. I just building my watch list. That was a 1 minute chart. Now when I zoom out right here to a 5 minute, you can see these levels right back over in here. So you can see something like PROG. I'd like it to pull back because it's overextended. So you'll see a lot of times these ones will gap up huge in the pre-market and then just dump at open, or they'll move up, they'll dump back down, and then at open they'll hold support and then possibly make a move up. And then you look left and you see those areas over here of previous resistance, right? In the pre-market and then on a daily chart or monthly, weekly, whatever chart timeframes you're looking at. And then kind of going down over here, we'll look at IFRX. You'll see right here, this peak over here, and you'll see those green dots are VWAP. So on my charts right here, you'll see the blue line is the 9 EMA, the red line's the 20 EMA. Those green dots are VWAP. Everybody has different indicators they use. Those are just the ones I like. So that's kind of what I'm doing is I look at my gap scan again, look at a trade ideas, or again, sometimes many of the free scanners are good. See what's running, map out those support resistance levels. You'll see in our Discord other people looking at stocks as well. So if you have your watch list, other people will have other ones they're taking a look at too. And you just kind of map them out. You get ready for open. You'll see I like those 1 minute. So me personally, I kind of put my charts as a 1 minute because I'm looking for those like 1 minute bull flags. So I kind of get ready for open. Keep these on watch down over in here. And then I also keep a eye or a chart over here on SPY or the futures, the market. So I want to see what the market is doing overall. Is the market overall bullish or is it bearish? Because if it's many times, again, stocks run with the market overall. So if the market is really bullish, many times stocks just in general, small caps, large caps will run with it. If the market is bearish, the same thing to be true. And then when you have these consolidation days and things get really kind of wonky, then stocks get in that range market, which are challenging. So you'll see right here on a daily chart, SPY has been bullish, possible cup and handle, inverse head and shoulders ish. So it's kind of bullish. Doesn't mean stocks will run and go crazy with it, but that's kind of what I keep an eye on it. I look intraday at what's happening. Is the market up or down? Today it is up. This is previous close. So that's that. So that's kind of how I build my watch list. I keep these on watch. I have these levels, these support and resistance levels that I'm looking at. So at open, which is, you can't see it now, but it'll be a black area over here in the future. I watch what price is going to do over here, over here, over here, and see what happens in the future. So what happens in the future to the right, I then look left at these other areas for these support and resistance levels. And then you got to determine your trading style. And that's where in our trade room and all of our trade rooms, everybody has a different type of trading style, right? So I'm more of a short-term momentum trader. There's other people that do longer-term intraday trades, so I might be in and out in a trade within a minute or two. Somebody else might be in it for an hour or two. Some other people might be in it for 5, 10, 15 minutes. There's not really a right or a wrong way. It's based upon your trading style. So this is where I have, this is, I'm ready to go. This is what I'm looking at. Again, I don't know what price is going to do on these. So this is where, you know what I'm going to do, guys? I'm hijacking I just thought of it, the voice room. I'm going to get out of the voice room right now just so I don't hijack it. And so I apologize for you guys. uh, so I'm going to hop out of the voice channel in Discord. I'm just going to do this on Zoom. So if you guys want to watch, you can type your questions for me. I just don't want to hijack this for you guys. So I'm going to hop out in Discord voice. All right, cool. So what I do now, guys, is I wait, right? What's up, Kevin? How's it going? So I watch what happens or wait for open. I can have trade ideas up over here. For me personally, I just use my regular broker scanner, Lightspeed or Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim takes a few minutes to get going. You'll see I have my morning scan up here. They take a little bit of time to get going, a few minutes or so when market opens, but they're actually pretty good for a high a day scanner. We do put our scanners in for our yearly members. If you're a yearly member, in our next level content, we have our scanner settings. So if you want to know the scanners we use and all that stuff, we provide our scanners that we use for our yearly members. So I'll wait, let the market open. A lot of times the stocks that I'm watching at open or in the pre-market, they might just dump off and I might look at something new that hits the trade ideas or my Lightspeed scanner, or you'll see right here, like other ones start to kind of creep up. Not a lot of volume on coal, but you can see right here, coal might have 3% volume, and then at open it might rip and maybe it goes up to 15-20%. Maybe there's news, something happens. So I watch these stocks and see if they change. And everybody's trading style is different. Like I said, I like these momentum ones that kind of move up like this, but then there's other people that like them when they fall down to these support levels and reverse, right? So I like, again, bullish momentum that rips up, but everybody's trading style is different. So that's that. That's really how I build a pre-market watch list. I just look at those top gappers. I look ideally for news. I'm not sure what happened to my. Did I remove the drawings on this? Maybe I removed them over here. I don't know what happened, but again, just to show you, I just connect these peaks and valleys. I use a 5-minute here for the intraday 5-minute, just kind of so it's not so many candles that I'm doing support and resistance on. And I just use it as a guide, right? So I look and I watch and I see, okay, does price hold support or those floor levels? Does it hit resistance? Does it go and break above? Does it fall down? And then with day trading, you got to decide what is your goal on each trade? Are you a scalper? Are you looking to trade 5-minute charts, 1-minute charts, 15 minutes? So I might look to scalp 10 or 15 or 20 cents, and somebody else might want to go for 40 or 50 cents. Typically, to get those type one, you might be zooming out more on the charts, or you find those low floaters that are ripping up on news, right? So at the moment, we have another 5 minutes or so to the bell, and just watch, right? And you can see right over here, that trend line right here and that rising wedge-ish or megaphone pattern, price went up, hit resistance. At the moment now, it's failing those moving average lines. So it's breaking angular support or the bottom of that trend line. Oh, let me look at OLB here as well. So you'll see with a lot of these right now, they've kind of just gapped right up, selling off now. This is so common, and that's why you watch them, these levels, and then keep an eye on a scan or a market scan at market open, and you scan for stocks at open. So this is for pre-market, but then we'll watch and see. Some of them will sell off and then they'll hold and then they'll go and rip at open. Others will just completely sell off, and then something will hit another gap scan. Oh, hit on the gap scan at open. So I'm going to stop this video right now for pre-market, and then we'll do one for going into the open. All right. So another 2 more minutes or so to the bell. So guys, if you're new watching us, make sure you take our courses. We have our courses at bullishbears.com. If you log in over there, you get access to all of our different courses. So we have beginners, day trading, swing trading, options, all that good stuff. And you'll see right over here as you kind of look left, right over here. So price is now kind of falling down to these levels over here. So another 2 minutes or so to opening bell. Now I kind of watch and see what's going on here. Now everybody's style is different. Remember, as a trader. So when I'm going into the opening bell, some people will look at 5-minute charts, 1-minute charts. I like those bull flags. So a lot of times this is where I kind of have these support and resistance levels mapped out. And so many times what I'll do is I just kind of will change my charts over to a 1 minute, and I look for that short-term momentum. This is just my style. Again, everybody's strategy is different. I look for, you see the moving average lines? That blue line's the 9 EMA, the red line's the 20 EMA. I like crossovers when that blue line is pointing up and crossing above that 20 EMA. So when price is kind of doing this, right? Price is moving up like this, that momentum. So market is open. I watch for those crossovers, right? I like to see that price is below these ones I'm watching now. So you'll see all these ones I was watching at pre-market, they're all below moving average lines. So either they're going to sell off or they hit support levels, watch for reversals, look for those 920 crossovers, and then see if price will get back up above them. All right. So this is what I watch. I don't typically jump into stuff at the opening bell. You'll see, the first few minutes is very volatile many of times. So you'll see these bigger candlesticks. This is with penny stocks. It's with large cap stocks. It happens a lot, right? So you'll see these candles get pretty big, right? So I kind of like let things play out. You can see a crossover is happening here on PROG. So I like to see that. So I keep an eye on that one. And if I look back over to trade ideas, still have kind of the same ones running at the moment. If I go over to my Lightspeed demo account, you'll see same ones are still going. And you'll see up over here. So these ones might be holding some support. We'll watch and see. PROG is kind of ripping up. I'd watch that $0.50 amount, that 350 resistance, those whole and $0.50 amounts. But I personally don't chase them. I don't chase the top of these candlesticks. However, there's other traders that do. So there's other traders that'll trade 1-minute breakouts and, trade the momentum right up, right? So I like pullbacks. So when I see something like this, I like to see it move up and then pull back down. I don't chase it up here because this is what I don't like getting caught up in, right? Right up. Remember what I said? Watch that $0.50 amount. What did it do? Right back down at 350, right? So at the moment, like I don't like it chasing these wicks up here like this. So I'd let this pattern play out, but then I drill down into, when I start seeing something like this with PROG, I go over here to my light speed. That's when I start to drill down a little bit more. I get my chart set up where I have my 5 minute, my 1 minute, my daily, my 10 second. Again, so this is right here on a daily. You'll see that white line? That's the 50, or no, I'm sorry, that's the 200 SMA on the daily. So price went right up. You see how it rejected at that 350 level? That white line is the 200 SMA on the daily. No coincidence. That's why moving average lines are not flawless by any means, but traders pay close attention. And you'll see many times those moving average lines happen right at previous peak levels, right over here. So I can connect that line right there. Right over here, here's some peaks right in the past that extend out to the future. And it happens right on many times, these moving average lines, those whole and half dollar amounts. And so I pay attention to it. So you'll see price did break pre-market high. So pre-market high was right over in here at that 333. And then you have the high at 350. And then I watch this clock down here. You'll see this timer. I watch for those 5-minute candles to complete. And many of times price action, watching those first and last minute candles. So like where it's, it would be 9 as it starts to, that 9:35 completes. When it starts to go to 9:36, I'll drill down and I'll look over here and see, okay, is there going to be a possible bull flag forming? So this is kind of now another 45 seconds or so. We watch how this 5-minute candle completes. Is it going to hold below pre-market high or is it going to push up? Right. And you'll see right over in here as I drill to that 1 minute, right over in this level, we watch. See, is there going to be a possible bull flag where this will hold here and break out? And then I look up here as resistance, or is it going to fail and fall down to these levels? So you're getting a bounce, 10 seconds left on this 1 minute candle. So now we watch. I don't know what it's going to do. I just know I want to see what this candle does. And then is it now on this next 5-minute candle that's forming? Is it going to go and break above or is it going to fall down? So this again, I'm looking at a 1 minute. Other people might be looking at other charts. So if you look at something like this and it holds and it breaks above here, you want to see it hold this support level. And then you look at these levels above as resistance, right? So if it holds a bit choppy right over in here, but if it holds, this is where you got to be careful just trading breakout candles and buying 1 minute candle breakout, stuff like that, because of the volatility of these types of candles. I personally like clean. I'm not a fan of choppy, but if this thing goes, you look at these levels above as resistance. And let me pull it. So you'll see right now, it's failing right now and it's coming back down to these levels. So that red and blue line again, that blue line is the 20 EMA. Red is the 20. Wait, what did I say? 9. The blue line is the 9 EMA. Red line's 20 EMA. That green dots are VWAP. White line is the 200 SMA. My purple or pink line is the 50 SMA. And then the yellow green dots are previous close. And so you'll see as it's failing here on a 5-minute, if I look left, or it's on a 1 minute, it's failing down here. It's hitting VWAP. So on a 5-minute, it's bouncing off VWAP, and that blue line is the 9 EMA. So it's bouncing off support. Watch how this candle completes and see if it can hold and push up or if it's going to end up failing. Support, resistance. Right. So as I go and look over, I was looking at chat. Sorry, peeps in Discord, guys. I'm recording a video here for you guys, so sometimes I might just kind of glance over. I might miss it. You'll see. So for me personally, I don't like when price is below the moving average lines. I like when it's above. So these are all kind of selling off at the moment, except for PROG. Let me take a look at trade ideas. So it looks like RLX might be moving up. So if I go over there, RLX a little bit, kind of 7%. So might take a look at RLX and see over here. And you can see PROG might be moving up. So I'll pull that one back up again. Okay, so RLX hitting the gap scan, but it's kind of below these moving average lines. So me personally, I'm not a big bear flag guy, but there's ways to get reversals as these hit support levels, reversals back up to those moving average lines, right? That's a different video that I'll do for you guys down the road on reversals. But now we go right over here, back over to PROG. And right, so it got the bounce, right? Another 1 more minute for this 5-minute candle to form. So now we watch here. It held support. It broke this level. So now at this point, if you are trading this and you're in and you're a short-term momentum trader, you want to see these candles hold their highs and continue up. If you didn't get in down here near support, now you're chasing near resistance. People will trade these 1-minute breakout candles, but it's riskier because you're buying tops. So at the moment right now, you had a double top. This top couldn't break this top. Now it's coming down. So it couldn't break resistance. Now it's retesting support. Watch for this 1-minute candle to form, which would be the next 5-minute candle. And at the moment, you have tweezer tops on a 5-minute. That's a bearish pattern. Doesn't mean it's going to fail, but you watch this 5-minute candle complete in 30 seconds. And if you're bullish on this, you want to see it hold its highs and continue up. But remember, if you're not in a position like this and you start trying to chase it out here, you're buying at resistance and the tops of those candles. You ideally want to get near support, whatever support is for you. I like kind of when it's coming down to these levels. Other people will like it when it's below those moving average lines. But again, there's a time and a place for these strategies. You'll see another 5-minute candle now forming right all near this 350 level, that $half amount, right? So at this point, we got to watch and see. I like that 9 EMA. I personally want to see it catch up and hold support to see if it's going to push above. If it breaks above 350, then you want to see 350 hold. 350 is a very important resistance or a ceiling level. And then you can see support down in these levels. If price continues up, you want to see it break and hold 350. If it gets above and then ends up failing, that's a possible bearish reversal. So you see it's creeping right up to 350. Right up to that $half amount. So it hits right up, right back down. Very common. But just kind of bring your attention to this. If you buy these 1-minute breakout candles, you're buying near resistance. So you can wait if the pattern sets up and hit near support in anticipation of the breakout. So maybe down in these levels, right down over in here, it's a little bit choppy over here. Or you can watch for a breakout above that level, watch for the retest and hold if there is one, then look for an entry. So you can get, if you like the setup, in anticipation and a break above those levels, or wait for the breakout and then the retest. So at the moment, it's a bit choppy for me. Double top, 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 right back down. See that? Top, top, down. Now we watch. Is it going to hold support? That's happening right at that 9 EMA. We have 3 more minutes left for this 5-minute candle. So you see it kind of went up, coming back down, retesting pre-market highs. So right here, now we watch. Is this a hold? And you can kind of zoom out and you can see right here, if you connect your 1 minutes like this, that's a 1 minute right over in this area. That's why I like using that 9 EMA as a guide, or these moving average lines, this 920 VWAP. Still got that spinning top kind of candle, so it's a little bit kind of shakier. I like to see a more of a cleaner hold right over in here. But at the moment, it's holding this level. See if it kind of, that's where you'll see a lot of times in these 5-minute candles, you'll see that yo-yo effect for a little bit. And then you could watch that last 1 minute or the first 1 minute and see what happens if it's going to go and, make a push to the high of this candle, right? So you watch, that's why I like these 5 minutes. That 944 on, I watch that 1 minute to see if it's getting a push up here, to see if it's going to hold that 5-minute candle, or if it ends up that last, you'll see another 20 seconds or so on this one. This is intriguing because it's holding support. Now we got to watch and see, is it going to be a clean hold of support? If so, that last 1 minute candle, you want to see it go and ideally hold its highs at 350 and get a break above it. So it is still holding that support level. The next 1 minute candle here, last 1 minute, is it going to get a push up or is it going to come right back down here? So this could go from a double top. It may form an ascending triangle. But like what you're really looking at is this, you want to see it hold its highs right here. So you'll see it struggling at that 350 level. These are choppier candles, whereas this is more of a cleaner kind of hammer. So the last 30 seconds of this candle, if you're bullish, you want to see it hold that 350 and continue up. But you got to just be careful buying out here because it's that $0.50 resistance. See, right up, right back down. Now you kind of have that triple top. But if it pushes up, it can form into an ascending triangle. Another 5 seconds or so. Next 5-minute candle about to form. So it's a bit far away from this pre-market high, those 330s. So, is it going to come back down and retest those areas? It's going to hold. Let the pattern play out, right? So I'm going to go over and take a look at some of these other ones. These other ones are still kind of bearish at the moment. So I can keep an eye on it over here. Still kind of creeping there on PROG. Let me sneak back over there. Creeping up. Possible ascending triangle here. It's holding that 9 EMA. Right here, it's right at that level. Now, when it gets above, you want to see it hold. See how there's a little bit of there's definitely a fake out. Move up. Now you can get trapped. This is where, for me personally, I like clean back here. But you'll see price action, like again, it'll fake out a lot of people right at the $0.50 amount. So now you got to watch this, and now you can get trapped in this candle up here. So, if you're back here at that 332, that's a good, what is that? Almost 15, 20 cent move. If you start to chase it up here, that's where it's riskier. Let's go back over here. And again, these ones are kind of still bearish below the moving average line. So everything's kind of like at the moment over here for me. But this is where, let me go over to Think or Swim. Let's see what's going on over. There we go. My morning scan, it's 15 minutes into the market. PROG, OLB, EDSA. Let me go over to my light speed. Well, one may be pulling up here on light speed, OMER, let's pull up right over here, trade ideas. Hmm, trade ideas isn't pulling up OMER. So I'm going to pull that one up. We'll take a look and see why. But you'll see OLB, EDSA, ETTX, Prague. Those few are right over on Thinkorswim, and they're also right over on Lightspeed. So let's go over to what was the one I was just looking at? OMER. All right. So this is one that's my style. I like this one. Not sure why it wasn't pulling up on the other scans, but you'll see bullish momentum, bullish momentum. Everything's really bullish. Now, what I don't like about it is how overextended it is at the moment, but I'm also aware of this daily gap. So there's a gap here on the daily, and so we like to see that. And there is some news here. So there is something going on. So I just kind of glance at it. I see something's going on over here. So I kind of can map out this gap level. So price is in the gap right now. Price gets very volatile up there in those gaps. So at this point, price is a bit overextended. I'd like to see it pull back. But you can see these really clearly defined kind of trend lines. Like, I can connect those peaks and valleys right up over in here. And so you'll see as I kind of connect it on a 1-minute chart like that channel, those peaks and valleys, that's why I like using that 9 EMA, because a lot of times I don't have to use the lower trend line because I can just use this as my short-term guide, right? So I know it's just very overextended. It's pulling back, right? So, and then I can kind of just do this, like connect these levels over in here, and watch that 9 EMA, see if it holds. This 5-minute candle is about to form, and no coincidence, right? Like where it's pulling back below that $half amount of 650. Whole and $half amounts, very, very important. So price moves up, comes back down. Now I watch these levels below. So this is where, again, sometimes where I won't put as many lines, because I can put this line over here, but that's the 9 EMA. I can go back over here, but that's the 20. So that's why sometimes I'll just put these lines above and then I'll just use these below as my support levels, right? Short-term momentum. So next 5-minute candle is about to form, showing some weakness down over in here. So it went up, it's pulling back. Now I watch and see, is it going to hold that 9 EMA or is it going to fall back down? Going back over here, you'll see I go back over to my watch list. Kind of meant now RLX might be creeping. See, it's making a move up to VWAP. No crossover yet, but I'll keep an eye on it. OMER. And then you'll see some other ones start to hit, right? So sometimes it takes a while. Your ones that you're looking at might not be ones that you're liking, and then you just might go over to something different. And then I might replace, for right now, instead of EDSA, I might put OMER now. We're getting, towards that opening range in the morning here, that 10 o'clock hour. So, I start bullish momentum up, pulling back down. So might change these and look at some different ones. OMER. Maybe I'll take a look at IQ. So OLB up there, IQ. Maybe I might go over here and put IQ. All right. So IQ, really great momentum up like this. This is a beautiful one. Moved up, right off right over here. Boom, it ripped. This is my style. I don't like it when it's way out here. I like it when it does this, comes right back down here. And then when you do those patterns, you can even see right here, connect those peaks and valleys right there. What kind of pattern is this? Well, at the moment, it's a rising wedge. So is it going to break out of the rising wedge or is it going to fall back down? Right now it's breaking out, but I can watch and see right up over in here, kind of connected up over here. This is where me personally, again, I don't really care about that line down at the bottom because I use that short-term momentum line, that 9 EMA right up here, as that support. So if you're new again trading, you just got to be very careful when price is way up here. Stocks are like rubber bands. They want to naturally gravitate back down to those moving average lines. Could be fast, like up here, boom, right back down, or it could be slow. But when you're trading these penny stocks, many times they're very volatile. So, but again, me personally, I really like when it goes up like this, comes back down, up like this, hold support, you're buying lower, and then you look at these levels of where you would take profits. Whole $half amount support resistance levels. If you buy low, you got to decide when you're taking profits. Right? There's no way to say, oh, because you just don't know, you can't predict what a stock's going to do. That's why you get your trading strategy down. I really like bull flag strategies. But other people are ascending triangles, other ones are reversals. But you can see even over here, right? As I got these lines over here, you can see, just kind of let these patterns play out. There's a head, left shoulder, and now, no coincidence, that head and shoulders pattern is happening right at a $half amount. This could be a head and shoulders failure, and it can be done, or again, let the pattern play out. It may hold support, move up, and then form at some point an ascending triangle. But at the moment, it's a head and shoulders. And right over here, right, that rising wedge, like that. So price is at resistance. It's getting nearer to that $half amount. So price is overextended. And what happened over here with Omer, that was a head and shoulders as well. Right? So you have head, left shoulder. This was a right shoulder there. Now you have a new right shoulder down here. And so now it kind of broke that neckline and it's failing. We got to watch and see. Is it going to hold that neckline? If it does, then you watch these areas above. And you can see as this level over here, it's that 9 and the 20 EMA. So that's why sometimes I just don't even put these lines there, because I just use these as my guide, right? If it holds neckline support, I can see, oh, there's resistance up here. And then I can look at these. If it gets above, I can look at that right shoulder. And then I keep going, looking at these levels here of, okay, those are resistance. If it holds and goes back up, I look at these levels of in the past as resistance to the future. But in the short term, I can look at VWAP, the 9, the 20 EMA. So price is still continuing up here on IQ. So if you're new, a lot of people will be like, "Ah, man, I should have gotten in on it. I should keep going." You'll see this one's still kind of moving up, but that's the risk you take, right? Keep an eye on this 950 level right up here. Sometimes you'll say like, you'll see a stock and it's so overextended, and you'll be like, "I'm waiting for a pullback before I get in," and then you won't get the pullback. It'll just keep ripping up. That happens, you know? Don't kick yourself on it. Sometimes the pullback doesn't happen, but there's always another stock to trade. So me personally, I wouldn't chase it out here. But there's other people that are getting in and they'll keep tight risk. They might get in on a breakout over here and they're like, "Hey, if I start to see some weakness over here, I'm out." But you're buying, those 1-minute breakout candles when they're overextended. You can do that. It's just very risky to do. You have to have a very quick broker, such as a Lightspeed, a Speed Trader, Centerpoint. I wouldn't do it on a Thinkorswim, but you'll see right up here that 950-ish level. So you'll see right over here, PROG, head and shoulders failure. We're coming into that 10 o'clock hour, head and shoulders failure on OMER. Now with IQ, so we'll look over here on That's the top one on the day. So people are really watching IQ. I might pull up TIGR, PROG. So at this point, for me personally, I'm done with it because I like when stuff's way out here. So even with OMER, I might get rid of it off OMER and start pulling up some ones like TIGR. So we go. That one's kind of moved up. It's kind of pulling back now at the moment. But so these ones, that's where I just have my scanner. I reset. I look through some of these, scrap some ones I don't look at or like anymore, and then look at some new ones that are hitting the scans, getting into that, that 10 o'clock area to see if, some of these are going to go and break out of that opening range or if they're going to end up failing. So at the moment, you'll see some of these are failing. So going into that 10 o'clock hour here with IQ, I'm going to watch it. So that's where just with scanning during the market. So you'll see I went over of what I'm looking at during the pre-market. Then it's going into market open and, mapping out support and resistance levels going into your intraday, right? So you'll see right over here on IQ, right at that 950 and right here. So going into that 10 o'clock hour, is price going to start going and breaking out of certain levels, or are they going to break down and either new ones start to hit the scanner for new moves, or ones that we were looking at the pre-market might start doing reversals and make plays up, right? So that's kind of what I do with looking at stocks at open after the pre-market. And you'll see some stocks that you look at in the pre-market, you still might continue to look at them at open, or you might look at some new ones. These are right here. When you see these percentage changes, this is volume coming in and buyers, the volume coming in, day traders trading these stocks. When they buy and sell, they hit the scanners, they create volume through all their buying and selling. And then these scanners, these momentum scanners, pick up on that volume. And then you'll see what the stock's doing. You learn the patterns, and then you map out those support and resistance levels. And then you decide, again, what your trading strategy is. That's the thing I can't say. I can't say you should trade this way because there's so many different ways to trade. I like bull flags. Other people like, when prices, I like bull flags off those like kind of support moving average lines. Other people will trade reversals down. Other people will trade them when, price is below the moving average lines, like down here. So I'm going to end this video here for morning scans and what we look at, and then we'll talk about what we're doing next on that 10 o'clock hour. All right, so now it's that 10 o'clock hour, and now you kind of have that range that's happened, that first half hour of the day. So this is where you'll see IQ is now breaking out of its highs on the day. So I can kind of just drill down here, I'll go to a 5-minute or zoom out a little bit just to get those areas a little bit cleaner. And you'll see, okay, TIGR on the day. Here is its highs right up here, highs and lows of that black area, which is the market open. And then I look left and you'll see, where did it reject? A tiger. You look left. Where was that? Back over here. So right up over here a couple days ago, there was some resistance. So, no coincidence, went up there, and there you kind of have your range on the high and lows. And then you can again connect these levels right up over in here. So this is kind of the range. So it went up right here at 855. Now it's kind of selling off at the moment. So IQ, what did IQ do? You'll see IQ broke out of that rising wedge. So now I would just kind of reset these drawings over here. And so IQ is just, it's definitely overextended on that 5 minute. So I kind of look back, I look left, and IQ is just ripping now. So it had an opening range breakout and it broke out of that 950 level. So at this point, again, this is one of those, if the stock is just moving and ripping, you just got to be careful chasing it. So I'd watch for a pullback or see if there is one. So again, a bit overextended. PROG, we look up over here, and that's where the high was at 355. And then you kind of had the low, which was right below here, was at 323. So it broke down out of its lows, kind of right down in here. So that one's kind of bearish at the moment. Same thing with RLX. So price, you'll see that's where many times this is another example of got to be careful where, you know, again, it's all support and resistance, right? So price at the open, it went, so you can see that volatility at open many of times. Price went and it broke above pre-market high, went up right below that $half amount, no coincidence, dumped right back down, didn't hold pre-market highs, and then it comes back down, and it the base of that candle, if you look left, was this area over here. So that's why, again, right, what happens in the past in these areas many times affects the future, right? So, so on these 5 minute charts, you'll start to see this is where I like to also see, okay, this price went up on TIGR. Now it's pulling back down here. I start to get intrigued on a 5 minute when you start seeing these pullbacks. Okay, that 5 minute setup might be happening. I'd like to see something like that on IQ, get a pullback down over here. You can see it's very far away from VWAP and that 9 EMA. Sometimes you won't get it and it just tanks. Other times it, might just go slow and slowly pull back. But this is what I like to see. I like to see this on TIGR. And as I zoom in on some of these other ones, you'll see possible with IQ. You'll see this high up here at that 974. So now we watch. So TIGR might be intriguing. Let me pull up if there's any other ones here. OLB, OMER. OLB is down here. And then I might pull back up. OMER is still hovering. So I'll pull that one back up and put that right here. All right. See, OMER, something similar right here. Bouncing off VWAP above that 9 EMA. Tiger's a little bit weak at the moment, but then I start to drill in. And so IQ, it's very overextended. Me personally, I wait for that thing to pull back. OMER is intriguing. So now I start to drill in and I say, okay, let's take a look at OMER. Oh, still have it up here on my chart. So yeah, going back to here on this OMER, bouncing off that 200 SMA on a 5 minute, above that 9 EMA, VWAP, kind of a crossover here on a 1 minute. This is intriguing to me. So I watch this one, and you can see kind of has that megaphone pattern. So if I connect, where is it? Oops, not that. Right over in here. So price has held that kind of that support level of that megaphone. Now we watch and I look left, head, left shoulder. is there going to be a right shoulder and it's going to fail? Or is it going to break above this left shoulder? And then we watch this area right here. If it, so head, left shoulder, is it going to be a right shoulder? Or if it goes up here and fails, will it be a double top? I don't know. I watch. I like to see these crossovers. Not a fan of these kind of spinning top candles, but I want to watch and see if it's going to pull back and get some separation here and push price up. And you'll see with looking left right here, this level right here is affecting this level. So this is what we do just every day. It's if you're brand new to trading, it's learning this stuff. It's learning price action, learning how price moves. This is with being done on penny stocks, but this is done on large caps as well. The same process on futures, a little bit different, but it's still the same thing, right? Support, resistance, patterns, and then determining what your trading style is and what you're looking to risk and what time frames that you're looking to trade. So you'll see right up over here, we have 2 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. And you can see I can also do a little bit of a short-term trend line like this right here. See how I'm kind of connecting these levels here, these peaks right up here, and the price is still kind of hitting it right over here. Sometimes, so that's where, you can do your lines, or many times you can do horizontal, you can do angular, but many times you'll do one. I didn't necessarily need to do the angular because the horizontal is showing me right here. It's struggling. Doesn't mean it won't go and continue up. That's where you got to watch these candles, see if they hold their highs, being aware of those 1 and 5-minute candles. Right here, that next 5-minute candle, there's 1 more minute here on this candle. And so again, these are those kind of spinning top doji candles, get hit up near resistance, struggling. That's where, like me personally, I want to see some separation to see if this thing can go and push price above. But I personally, I'm not a fan of, like, when I see those head and shoulders kind of patterns and I see this playing out, I'm just like, I'll watch it from afar at times, but I kind of like to zoom in and see anything else going on. Tiger's kind of failing at the moment, and Omer's doing that kind of spinning top. So I can drill down on IQ and see, well, it's getting a pullback, still a little bit overextended. So now on a 1 minute, there is the pullback right down here towards that 9 EMA, which I like to see, but still very overextended on a 5. So this is where, again, sometimes you'll get just this pullback and this thing will go and rip up. So if I'm drilling down on this one, I'd say, okay, possible bull flag. I keep an eye on this 950 level right over here. Which is right over here, breakout on the daily, right above this level. So, if this area can hold, then I start to see, okay, 950, that support, $10, you can just put $10, assume that whole dollar amount's going to be resistance, 950, then $10 right there, resistance. And then you have the high a day up here at that 974, right? So kind of mapped it down, looking right up there. So now I watch this, right? So now I can see, okay, I'll keep an eye on this. It's intriguing. I don't like how overextended it is, but then I also take into play with IQ. Let's take a look at. So IQ shares outstanding. It's a 2.6 billion. That's an extremely high float, which is good in the sense of it's less pumping and dumping on you. So you'll see, like right here with shares outstanding, 8 million shares outstanding, 11 million. That's like float. It's a little bit higher than float. But anything under 20 million is low float. Anything under 10 million, really low float, which means more pumping and dumping, extremely volatile. So when you get a lower float, if you're looking to buy something out here, you got to be extra, extra careful because if it rips, dumps on you, it can really dump hard. Whereas something like IQ being a higher float stock, I mean, I still don't like the pattern now. I want to see it hold and bounce, but I might look to get something like something down on this, watching this one because it is a higher float that I might risk if you have a hold right down here of possible support. This could be one of those ones to that I keep an eye on where I'd be a little, I'd say less concerned that I would with with a lower float stock. So many times with these higher float, you'll see they just kind of they'll grind, right? So this move up and then see that just kind of holds and then just that nice grind up like that. So this is what I really like to see. Bit overextended out here, but we can watch right here. See if this was to hold, this is where you determine if you were to trade something like this, if you get a breakout up here, would you risk a candlestick close below this candle as your stop? Would you use, which is really that 950? See that small little 1 minute candle? See where it's happening? Right above 950, right at that red line, which is the 20 EMA. No coincidence. Now that's support. Will support hold and continue up? We'll watch and see. So that's kind of that area on that 1 minute. Another 1 minute left on this 5 minute candle. So if you were to trade something like this, you could use a candle close below this as your stop. You can use the 20 EMA, or you can wait for that 5 minute candle to close, which is more my style. I like to wait for it to close, see what happens on that next 5 minute candle. So you see it's moving right up to that 9 EMA. So it's right kind of sideways. So me personally, I wait for the next 5 minute candle, see how that forms. And either if it goes and it starts to break this area, you use this area above as resistance, right down here as support. That's why those whole $half amounts, very important support resistance levels. But this 9 and 20 EMA, you can see price is kind of caught in between it. That's where, like I said, I like it when it's kind of riding that momentum. I personally like it when it's nearer to support. When it's way out in these areas, I'm not as much of a fan. That's buying high, trying to sell higher. You can do that. It's just a risky strategy. All right, next 5 minute candle. So now we watch, and you can see right here in a 5 minute, what is price doing? It's retesting this area. If you ask me what it's going to do, I don't know. I got to watch candles. So that's where my 5 minute, kind of that little bit bigger perspective, I zoom in on a 1 and I say, okay, look at that 1 and a 5. I watch it here. If I'm bullish, I want to see price kind of hold this area and go and break out of it. Right. And then that's where you determine, are you a scalper? Remember, this is a higher float stock. So the reward is not going to be as great. So if this thing goes and breaks out, if this thing moves from 958 up to 974, that's actually a really good move. 10, 15, 20 cents on a higher float stock on a breakout, it's actually pretty good. Compared to a low float, if it broke out of here, it could be 30, 40, 50 cents. It could be $1 or more. So it's more risk, more reward with a low float. Lower risk, lower reward with a higher float, but also you still got to be aware of the risk of like how far price is. But you can see even from here, 950 down to that 9 EMA, that it looks far away, which it is, but it's only 10 cents. I'm not saying, hey, it's great to lose that amount of money, but if this is a low float, that could be 50 cents or $1 way down here. So keep looking at that, and then I'll look over to my other ones. So that's IQ, Tiger failing the moving average lines right here. I might look at Omer again. So sometimes, like I said, it takes a while to pull back, right? But then other ones might be starting to move. So I'll drill down into something like Omer. So Omer's still kind of hanging around. So I'll move that line. And it held right here. See that lower angular support on that megaphone? It stayed above over here. But now it's still struggling right above at this area here. So if I was to be bullish on this, I want to see some separation on these moving average lines and see if price can push above. All support resistance patterns. Zoom in on a 1 minute here. See this peak over here? It's affecting the future. What happens in the past affects the future. What's going to happen over here? I don't know. Right? So I got to watch and see, is price going to get above and break these levels, or is price going to fall and go down to these levels? This is where it's important to find what kind of patterns that you like to trade. Me personally, I like those bull flags. So when you're doing this, looking at the 1 minute, 5 minute chart, you can look for, this 5 minute setup right now. It's pretty decent. It's holding above up here. So I like how it's kind of holding these critical support levels. But then, so the 5 minute setup, not bad. It's still a little bit choppy with these wicks. But this is where you zoom in on a 1 minute in that short term momentum. I want to see that separation right over here happen and push price up. When I say I want, that doesn't mean I'm going to trade it. That's what I look at. And then I look at other charts and factors as well. But this does have a setup. So there is a gap that is very intriguing. So if this thing does go and move, this thing may, it's got some room to go. So this, I do like this 5 minute, but now I want to watch right down here in this 1 minute and start to see if there's some separation. And then when I go over to OMER, that's kind of a medium float. So that's 62 million shares outstanding. That's medium float. So it's kind of in between of the pumping and dumping. So it's that in between risk reward. So there is some reward on this thing if it'll break out. So last 1 minute candle about to form on this 5 minute. And you can see this area, that 624, this 5 minute candle. See this right over here? This area right there is this area right here. And you can see how it's struggling. So that's why I like these 5 minute candles as well, to see what's happening over here. And then this peak right over here, right there at that 616, at that 5 minute candle is right happening right here. So you see what happens on the 5 minute affects over here on a 1 minute as well. So what happens in the past affects the future. Look left. What's happening over here on the right? Look left and see what happened. Have those lines that affects the future. So this is kind of doing that yo-yo. It's kind of trading sideways a bit. So I'm kind of on it at the moment. So IQ has that 5 minute hammer, potentially intriguing. Tiger making a move up to that VWAP. This is where I would zoom in on IQ here. All right. So that 5 minute hammer is really nice. So now at this point, you want to see if price is going to go and break, and it's not at the moment. It's retesting here. That hammer is very intriguing. Beautiful looking hammer, but price has to go and break above on that 5 minute. And it's just creeped up over here a little bit. Now it's right back down again. And that happens a lot. You'll get those little fake outs. So that's where you got to manage your risk. Just because something looks like it might do something doesn't mean it's going to. But it's clearly defined risk at that $half amount. So now right here on a 5-minute, if you have a 5-minute setup, sometimes you'll get a little fake out, it'll come back down, and then it might go a few candles, and then it goes and breaks out. But you can see this 9 EMA starting to creep up. Like to see that. Doesn't mean it's going to hold, but you can see all this kind of price action right above that 950 level. All right, gonna check our Discord here now. Lots of action people talking in there today. I didn't want to clog up the voice channel in there today because I'm doing some videos for the new updated videos for our day trading course. So for those of you listening in Zoom, you get the treat of my trading style here today, teaching you trading live. But this is what we teach every day, so we go through all this stuff every single day. I'm going a little bit more in depth today because I'm making some videos, but this is the stuff we teach pretty much every day in all of our rooms. So you keep an eye here. There's that 1-minute hammer. So you got kind of that range right over here, that kind of 1-minute small little trading sideways here. Like that. So another minute and a half on this 5-minute. Possible tweezer bottom-ish, not perfect, almost co-equal bottoms. This is where I tell people, don't get bogged down. Sometimes they'd be like, oh, is that a tweezer bottom? Well, no, the bottoms are not totally equal. Well, it doesn't have to be, because it can be tweezer bottoms or a couple hammers. It's showing almost co-equal bottoms right at a base level. So that can be intriguing if price can kind of hold here. But many times you'll see this could also be tweezer tops. So this could be tweezer tops, 2 co-equal tops, or it could be tweezer bottoms, 2 co-equal bottoms. Bottom line, it's what is price going to do at that $half amount? So watch this last 5-minute candle form in 30 seconds. And if you were to be bullish on this, you want to see this 5-minute candle form, get a breakout above on this 5-minute, and then look at these levels above as a resistance. And you zoom in on a 1-minute, you can see that consolidation. Now we watch how this 5-minute candle forms. Watch that next 1-minute candle and see if it breaks above this level. Pretty much you can almost use that 960-ish level, like really like right here, to be honest, like this level here. Right? So now you have that next 1-minute candle. It's creeping up. Now it's right here. It's got to break 960. Right? So if you were long off this hammer, so if you were to risk off this and you got in, now you want to see it hold its highs. So now you watch here. It's got a little bit of momentum now. Now you watch these 1-minute candles. You want to see these 1-minute candles hold their highs and keep pushing up. Right? So there is that move up. Watch this 1-minute candle. Me personally, I like to see it hold its highs and continue up. But then watch this 974 level. So many times it'll hold its highs. It might continue up, or it might pull back down and give back part of that candle right back down here. If you risked off that hammer 956, you're up 10 cents already. You can take your profits on that 10 cents right now, or you can, stay in it a little bit longer. You can use, this is where, again, 10 cents on a stock like that, 10 cents is a good scalp on a high float stock. But you can start to see some, separation here. So you could have scalped that as it's coming back down, look for reentry, or on a higher float stock, you could say, hey, I'll stay in it a little bit longer. I'll look at these levels as support. If it starts to close below here, I'll consider getting out. Or you could use a close below this hammer as your stop, or that 950 level. I personally don't let it fall that far. So if something like this goes up and it can't hold its highs and it starts showing some weakness, I'm more of a scalper or short-term trader. I consider getting out. But it's also relative to what type of stock it is. This is a higher flow stock. If this is a low floater, if this was a low float and I got this and then I started to see this, typically I'm usually out and then I look for re-entry again. So now you see kind of moved up, right? It's retesting back into that candle, right back down to these levels. Now you want to see right here if it's going to get a bounce. Watch this level right up here, that 974 level, and be aware of there's 2.5 minutes left on this 5-minute candle. So if you're in this, remember, like I said, if you get in on that, kind of that first minute has action, and then you'll have this yo-yo effect, and then you got to watch that 5-minute candle. Is it going to hold its highs and continue up, or does it turn into a yo-yo, end up failing down, and then you can have a possible double top? So will this turn into a double top and fail? Will it turn into a cup and handle? Will it turn into a bull flag and break out? I don't know. I just watch price action. Be aware of the clock down here, 2 minutes left here. And right here, you have these spinning tops. So this is where if you're in on this hammer, do you take profits out here? Do you wait it out to the end? This could easily go up, hold its highs and break out, or it could easily fall right back down and give back your profits. So we'll watch this one play out. Again, keeping on a 5-minute. Here's what's happening on a 1-minute. Right here over on a 5-minute. But if you're new, chasing it out here, it's just this is where you get trapped, right? It's challenging. I like those clearly defined patterns. When you start trying to chase it out in those spinning tops and candles, it's more difficult. And you see it's right back down, retesting. Now we wait for this last 1 minute right here at a very important support level. Is it going to hold and push back up, or is it going to fall right back down? This is where right here on this 5-minute, if you're bullish on it, I like to see if I'm bullish on a stock, it hold its highs and continue up. I'm not a fan of when you get this wick like this, because then you could be stuck in that for a while. And we teach in our next level library and our yearly, if you're a yearly member, there's other things where I talk about microsecond charts and what I look for and other types of strategies. So I'm kind of just giving you some of the basics. If you're a yearly member, I really drill down into these microsecond charts and what I like. But you'll see right here, right at this level here, we have another 5-minute candle about to form. So this is where, again, like I said, if you were in off this 957 area and you stayed and you didn't take your profits, now you're kind of just trading sideways. Now it's kind of like, okay, what am I going to do? This could be, it's trading. Sometimes you won't take your profits, they'll come back down, you'll trade sideways. Sometimes you'll sell too soon, but you could have taken your profits up here, watch for a pullback down for a possible reentry again. This is it's a higher place stock, so it's what is it? $8.70. So it all depends what size account you have. If you're over the PDT rule, you could have bought maybe 2 or 3,000 shares right here. Now you're getting that bounce up. So you're right here. So next 5-minute candle. Now it needs to hold this 968-ish level. So it got a bounce. Now watch this next 1-minute candle. You want to see it break the highs right up over here. If not, it can form a double top. Needs to clear this area. If you're new, you always got to be careful buying the tops of these candles. It's the lower candles. Right here, I like this candle best. This one's kind of but again, many times you won't get a bullish candle and it'll just go and it'll move up. There's other things you got to be aware of down in other chart level 2 or microseconds, but you'll see right here, right, another move right up, and it's right at this high a day here. So this is where if you're buying 1-minute breakout candles, you're buying at resistance. You got to be careful. Buy low or near support. So I hope this is helping you guys here. Like I said, today I'm making a few videos here to put into the course to show you this real world price action and how you do pre-market scans, how you map out the pre-market support and resistance levels, how you go into the market open, you look at scans during market open, how you look at patterns during the market, how are you putting together a strategy, watching price action real time, seeing what happens, mapping out these levels, learning candlesticks. That's where our candlesticks course, our ebook. So we have a couple courses, an ebook, and those wallpapers. So I'll show you that in a second here. But you'll see right here a top and a top. So double top at the moment. That can be a double top and fail, or it can turn into a cup and handle. We just got to watch what price action does at these levels. A 1 minute chart over here. Again, look left. There's a 5 minute. At the moment, it's a double top. But being aware of what type of stock is it? Is it a low float? Is it a high float stock? Again, if it's a low floater, this would really make me nervous how overextended it is. A higher float stock, depending on how you trade it, there's a couple areas you could have scalped up in here and kind of in here, and you'll see the reward, is 10 cents or so, 10 cents or so. On a really high float stock, that is good, So that's what you got to be aware of is when you're trading these stocks, what's your risk reward in general with the support and resistance levels? And then what's the volatility like with those higher and lower float stocks? What do they do? Lower floats typically pump and dump a lot more. So more risk, more reward. Pump and dump, again, we teach and show how to trade them every single day in our trade rooms. Not saying to not trade them. It's just risk management, right? Proper risk reward. So now there's a last 1 minute candle here about to form, which is this 5 minute candle. So now we see, is there going to be a push up here, up towards that high of day? So you have kind of that hammer, but you also have almost a head and shoulders on a 1 minute. So you see how it's kind of showing some weakness? So you can wait for the next 1 minute candle to form, but it's, that's the thing. So there's a lot of people that'll trade these, whatever your trading strategy. There's a lot of people that are ecstatic that would have gotten in on this 963 and scalped it up to 973. That's a 10-cent move. Back over here, 956 up to 966. That's 10 cents. That's 10 cents. So if you take a calculator out and, if you have just bought 1,000 shares times 10 cents, that's $100. You did that times 2, that's $200 in a day. So that's $100, $100 times, let's say 5 days a week equals $1,000 times 52 weeks. Doesn't seem like much, but 50 grand a year, right? Not saying everybody's going to do that by any means, but that's what I'm trying to say when you're looking at this. Something might not look like much, but to somebody else, it's a lot. So somebody that came in and it's like, oh, I'll take that scalp all day long. I'll risk that one as well. They just, someone that's buying 1,000 shares. Somebody might have a bigger account and they may have bought in 5,000 shares, right? So 5,000 times 10 cents is $500. And then they did it again, right? 500, 500. So that's times 2. That's $1,000 in a day times 5, 5,000 a week, right? Yep. Times 52, 260,000. See the number difference? So depending on your size account, right? So somebody might have traded that and be like, I only made $100, but somebody else made the same exact trade. They just had a bigger account. They made the same trade and made a lot more money just because their brokerage account was bigger. That's the only difference. See, again, another one right here, kind of move up here. So that's 9, right here. So now you watch right here, another small little candle up here. Now you watch these levels over in here and see if is it going to hold its highs, or is this going to turn into a triple top failure? See right here, it's struggling. Is it going to go and break above, or is it going to fail? So right here, it's got to clear that 970s level right up here. So this is where when you're trading, it's finding your strategy, not copying anybody else's. And what are you looking, myself, I'm a scalper. I like those flag breakouts or these kind of little moves up and taking profits, looking for entries. That's my style. I'm a kind of quick in and out kind of trader. It's also because doing a lot and teaching you guys and making videos and streaming. And if I had, wasn't doing everything with us every single day and I could just focus all day long, I might do different with my trading style. But because it's in and out and, not being, tied to my computer or answering emails, blog posts, videos, that stuff, that's where it comes down to your lifestyle, right? How much focused do you have? How much time do you have to trade? So in day trading, um, you know, how much distractions do you have? What's your home life like? Do you have children at home? Do you have an office? Are you a lot of distractions? Um, how are your emotions when trading? Do you want to be in and out of a trade quickly or slower? So that's where like people in our rooms where I teach more of this kind of this, those kind of the not saying to do this one, but just kind of that's why I'm looking at this, right? Kind of these moves up, back, moves up, back up, right? So these kind of up, up, those quicker moves. Um, so if you like to be kind of in and out of a trade kind of quick and not in it very long, that's a little bit more my strategy. But you can take what I teach you here and do it to more your strategy, zooming out on time frames or learn from other people. There you go. It's breaking out. You can see some separation on these moving average lines. Now, if price holds, you want to see it hold this level. So if price breaks out, you want to see it continue up. Many times it'll hold its highs and continue up, or you'll get a retest. Watch this 5-minute candle form over here. Many times you'll get a retest back and it'll hold and continue up, or other times it'll end up failing and coming right back down. So, again, there's other people they don't like these quicker moves up. They'll watch for reversals down or being on longer time frames. And that's the stuff we teach you in our courses and our next level library is just the different strategies and how you make it work for you. But it's all price action. And then your trading environment. If you have time, a good computer setup, limited distractions, you could get in on a 5-minute setup and kind of stay in and, you know, go throughout a process and have that patience. If you don't and hey, I got to get in and out, or I don't want to be in very long, or my environment's not conducive for it. This is for day trading. Then you might be like, okay, I'll look at some charts and you'll see kind of how I have kind of set up. Hey, I'll look at these, I'll glance, and then hey, when something sets up, I'll zoom in and then kind of like, so something like with IQ, maybe you start to zoom in on PROG. Omer actually went and broke out. So Omer had a really nice move right there. So you could just have this up on another computer screen, look at your chart time frame, and then see as something's going and say, oh, hey, I'll go in and I'll trade that breakout. Right? I mean, let's go look at OMER. That went from 650 up to 7. Now, if we go over to OMER, that was that medium float that we were looking at. So I had remember I was saying that good risk, it's that medium risk reward. And when we go over to OMER, so you'll see IQ is just kind of slowly grinding up. But what's nice here on this 1 minute, you got this 9 EMA kind of catching up. It did bounce off this 5-minute one. It's still a little bit overextended, not too far, but it's starting to creep up. So we'll see if it holds and continues up. But then we look at OMER, that 5-minute setup I was saying, right? Price is staying above. And then what did it do? Remember that kind of this area right over here? I didn't even move my right here. So I had it right over in here, the angular support, but it started to creep. And then what did it do? It went out and kind of broke above these areas, retested, and then it went and then boom, it ripped and it broke out right above that $half amount. And if you look left, that happened right over up here. It broke high a day right over here. So if I zoomed over here, it broke high a day around that 650. And then at that point, now it's like this thing broke out 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute candle. Then you can say, hey, this is where you decide, right? If you got in a break somewhere right around, let's say you got in a break of 650, and now you see this candle right here, it's at 682. You've made 32 cents. Do you consider taking your profits and getting out up here? Or are you going to stay in? Now, hindsight's 2020. You don't know this is going to happen when it's happening. This is giving you a warning. So do you wait? If it's a low float stock, you get a really low float. It can be very careful because this can dump immediately. Medium float, it can go either way. Maybe I'll stay in or maybe I won't. But this is where if you're up 32 cents, you can say, well, I could have stayed in longer and made more. Yeah, that happens all the time in day trading. You're going to sell too soon many of times. That happens. But if you go back to that figure of dollar amount again, if you bought 1,000 shares and you made 30 cents, right? 650 up to 680, 30 cents, 1,000 shares times 30 cents. That didn't work. 1,000 times 30, $300 times, let's say 5 days a week, 1,500 a week times 52 weeks, $78,000 a year waiting for a setup. These setups happen all the time. Some days there's several, some days there only might be one. But this is where with day trading, you don't have to overtrade and make a ton of trades, right? You could just wait for your setup, get that one move, not greedy, take your profit. If you get a reentry, great. If not, you are done, right? That was somebody that bought, this is what price is this stock? 580, a little bit less than the other one, still a little bit higher, but depending on what size your brokerage account is. Somebody else that has over the PDT rule may have bought in 5,000 shares, made 30 cents, and they made $1,500. Let's say you did that 5 days a week. 7,500 a week times 52 weeks a year. That's 390,000 a year. Again, great money, but what size is your brokerage account? To make that potential, to have the potential to make that type of income, you need to be able to make and buy more shares. To buy more shares, you'll see like of a stock like that 580, to get 5,000 shares, you would have to go 5,000 times 580, and that would have been 29,000 in buying power, right? So this is where with day trading, you're using your buying power to get those quick moves. You don't just use it all, especially if you're new. You got to day trade, or you got to practice, use a paper account. But that's really what you're doing with day trading is you're with penny stocks is you're scalping those quicker moves, right? And you're using your account as leverage. But you don't go to an offshore broker or something like that until you know how to trade first. Practice in a cash account, smaller positions after you practice in a paper account. So paper account first, then cash account, smaller positions, and then you'd look for a possible offshore broker if you have less than the PDT rule, which is you need to have at least $25,000 in your account to make unlimited day trades. 3, you need, or did I say that right? 25,000 in your account, to make unlimited day trades. Otherwise, if you have less than 25,000, it's 3 day trades in a 5 calendar day period. But that's it. You're looking with day trading. You're looking to do those little moves, right? Now again, that's with scalping. There's other people that are doing longer term. We teach, we have different mods in our room that are completely different traders than me, where they look at my strategy, that's not their strategy, and they're looking at something completely different. And you might be like, "Oh, this is not my strategy." Well, great. We teach you the skill set. You determine what your trading style is when day trading. So we teach you in our beginners course how to find your trading style, right? Now you got to determine what is your trading style within your trading style. So if you're a day trader, are you a scalper? Are you a reversal trader? Are you going on the longer term charts? Are you going on the shorter term charts? Again, everybody's trading style is different. So right now you can see OMER right back down. You'll see right off that blue line right now on a 5-minute chart, which is that 9 EMA, which is also the previous of these peaks candles. What is it going to do? I don't know. I watch and I wait for the candles to form, see if it holds. If it holds, then we look at these levels kind of above up here and see if it holds support. We look at these areas above as resistance. If the pattern plays out depending on your trading style, then you decide, hey, if I was to risk off a VWAP, I look at these levels above as resistance. These areas here, moving average lines, these levels right over in here on up right in here and say, okay, like I said, I like when price kind of gets back above those moving average lines, but there's other people that'll come off VWAP right here. VWAP bounce, they might risk, if it goes up and breaks a new high, they might risk a candle close below VWAP. Right now it's a bit shaky, but so that is with, which one was that? OMER. And you can see kind of with IQ over here. Now you start to, it's 10:48. It's getting close to 11 o'clock, getting closer to that lunchtime hours. So that's where times, starts to slow down at times. Obviously, stocks will still run, but you could either say, hey, that first hour of the day, hey, I got my move, I'm done. Or there's other traders that's like, hey, I don't like to trade that first hour. They might come in at 10:30 to 11:30 or 11 on, let those patterns play out. Then they have clearly defined patterns, and then they have less. I don't want to. That's the thing, is like some people are like, hmm, I'll trade the opening bell craziness. And then there's other people that are different intraday trading styles. So actually, as I'm thinking of that, I'm going to stop this video and then I'm going to make a new one on that. All right. So for those that don't like to trade, just in general, like the first hour of the day, it might be too volatile for them. There's other people that like to let the patterns play out and then come in and trade then. Right. So, these are ones that I was watching. You'll see here's a 5-minute chart, right here of TIGR, kind of with IQ. What you do is just kind of find the stocks, that are running. So let's say I wasn't looking at this the first hour of the day. I'd kind of come in over here, see which ones are running. So just for example, I'll just reset. I'll just pretend like I wasn't looking at these stocks today. So something you could do, you're like, I'm just, I don't want to trade that first hour of the day. It's just too volatile for me. It's just too much going on. You can pull up a high day scanner, so you can do a trade ideas right over here. That's a paid scanner. See what the top gappers are. Or you can come into, let's say, a Thinkorswim, use a free scanner over here, and you'll see OMER, HX, IQ. So OMER. Not sure why OMER is not showing on trade ideas. That's interesting. So actually, Thinkorswim is pulling up something that's not showing up on my trade ideas. That's interesting. HX. Huh. Wow. HX is not showing over here. I don't know why, unless somebody else is using my scanner. No, somebody else is. Interesting. So, this is pretty cool way to show right here. So this is actually pretty cool. So this will just show that sometimes these free scanners are even better than the paid ones, right? Now OLB, so in fairness, OLB at the moment is not showing on Trade Ideas one. So they do kind of move around and stuff, but let's pull up my Lightspeed one. This is my virtual one with Lightspeed. So it is pulling up IQ, but IQ is not showing at the moment on Trade Ideas. But YMM over here, so that's where I'll have like a few of them. So I have my Lightspeed one, but Thinkorswim, Trade Ideas. Let's just for now, let's not even we won't even do my Lightspeed one or my Trade Ideas one. We'll just use my Thinkorswim one because it does a trick. You don't have to know everyone that's going on. So I'll just take the four or a few that are. I'll just take OMER, HX. So I kind of go over here, and you can have a you can adjust this however you want to your trading, time frames. Here's a 5-minute chart. So OMER, HX, IQ. So what I would kind of do right here, if I was coming in a little bit later on, I would say, okay, where's the high and lows on the day? Those support resistance levels. So I kind of would just map them out right here. Here's those peaks, kind of here, kind of just a gauge, right? I just do a little visual, see what happens left, which extends to the right, and kind of zoom in. And sometimes I'll put the lines there, and other times I'll just use the moving average lines and see where price is. That 9 is the blue. That 9 EMA is the blue line. The red line is the 20 EMA. Those green dots are VWAP. Sometimes I won't even put the lines. I'll just kind of look and see, okay, where's price on a 5-minute? It's kind of caught between the moving average lines. So me personally, I like when it's kind of moving up. But HX, I can see, okay, well, this one's really kind of moving up here. It's a bit overextended from that 9 EMA. So I can kind of connect these levels down here. And then also many times I'll just look left over here. Hey, what's happening? Oh, okay, there's that pre-market level. There's this one over here. Okay. So I kind of just got an eyeball and a gauge over there. IQ. All right. Kind of looking over here. Got this peak down over in here. Kind of zoom in and I say, okay, well, which one do I like at the moment? I'm like, well, they're a bit overextended. So I personally like to see them pull back a little bit. So, I'd probably look at IQs, but I can see, it's a head, left shoulder, possible head and shoulders. But I start to drill down. So I have these levels kind of mapped out. And this is where I can say, okay, less of the day traders might be starting to go to lunch over the next half hour or an hour. So, coming in at this hour of the day, you might get less reward, but it's also sometimes less risk. It's all relative because the pattern, you're not going to necessarily get all these big moves up, like these crazier moves like this, but the pattern is defined. So you might say, hey, I don't care about all these quick moves up. I want to kind of slow it down, get my setup, get my piece of the move, and get out. Right. So this is where you can kind of map out these levels. Here's a 5-minute chart. And then you can decide, for someone like me, I start to look at those 1-minute charts. So then I kind of zoom in on a 1-minute. Okay, what's happening on a 1-minute? All right, so on a 1-minute, I had that quick little flag here. And so price is below right over here. So this is one of those ones where, I start to look up and you see, okay, those bull flags, those falling wedge kind of patterns where you can kind of, I personally like when price is above those moving average lines, like up over in here. But there's other people that are reversals. So this is where to kind of show you, a couple different options of, let's say with OMER, not my style, but other people trade it all the time. They let the price fall, look for these little candlestick reversals, and they might take a quick move back up, risk down here, looking for a move back up to VWAP and see if price will hold and continue above, right? So if you got in, let's say on 633, and then you had that little bit of a rejection right up at 640s area, that's a possible 10-cent move, right? So that's a way that you could, if you're a scalper, um, or again, you might stay in it a little bit longer because you got down at a lower entry. So you can wait. Hey, I'll wait. I'll stay in it. I'll use a candlestick close below here as my stop on a reversal, or you can take your profits up there. Remember, OMER, if we look at it, is a medium float stock. So it's in between low float and high float. If there's a higher low float stock, you might get shook at on it. Medium float might allow you to stay in a little bit longer, right? Um, but that's all up to what your trading strategy is. Some people are like, hey, I'll just take that quick, 5-10 cent move. Other people are like, I'll stay in it a little bit longer, right? Another way is on this HX, you can down over in here. So as price is kind of up at high day, it pulls back down to these areas right over in here, right? So this is kind of a bullish hold, not the greatest, but it kind of held. You can see it was a little bit choppy, but that move up came back down. Nutsy broke, got into break of that 738. Well, by default that $half amount is going to be resistance. 738 up to these areas, that's a 10-cent move, right? So that's a 10-cent ish reversal. Remember those moving average lines, VWAP resistance. And then also on this breakout, you can know $half amount and then high a day resistance. Someone like me, I'm more of this style. Get in, get out. Other people are like, I'll get in here, I'll take profits, or I'll grind it out. This is just kind of on that like 1 minute type of chart, right? So it's a little bit choppy for me kind of over here, but those are a couple. Like this would have been one that would have been potentially interested in. Again, I like microsecond charts and stuff like that as well. But this is kind of for that. You'll see it's, a little bit slower patterns, this time of day. Patterns have kind of played out a little bit. Well, that's kind of what I do. And then, I can look at my different scans and see, scans I'm looking at. We have our Discord. People are looking at other things within our Discord. And so there's IQ, YM. So here's my light speed one. So I can pull up YMM, see what's going on there. Okay, so YMM, that might be interesting on a 5-minute. It's kind of holding right here. It's a little bit higher of a price stock, which I like personally. Holding on a 5-minute. And so I can kind of drill down in here, see these kind of levels right at that 1650, right? No coincidence, those $half amounts. These levels here. And then I can drill down right over here and my E signal, pull up YMM, see what's going on. Holding right over here on a 5-minute, possibly crossing over here on a 1-minute. So kind of zoom out, draw these levels here. What happens in the past affects the future many of times. So then I zoom in, see what's going on over here. Right. So you'll see it's a little bit choppy right here at the moment. I like that separation. But so I kind of look right now, it's kind of trading sideways. So then I kind of go back and I see, okay, anything I'm liking at the moment. IQ might be creeping. Let me pull IQ back up. IQ has that 5-minute hammer, kind of trading sideways at the moment. But this is where, again, it's a higher float stock. See those 5-minute candles pulling back. You know, what type of trader you are. Are you going to trade on a 5 minute and kind of let it ride out if we get a break above? Are you going to scalp on a 1 minute? Really, it's all your different trading style. But this is kind of showing you in this video on how that you could uh, come in a little bit later. You get less reward because you miss a lot of the moves, but also at times less risk because you have those clearly defined patterns and you're not dealing with the volatility. So that's where day traders can, just traders in general. Some people are happier at opening bell. Some will wait for the hour, let an hour play out or so, and then come in after the patterns have played out. Other traders might come in after lunch, let the patterns come in after 2:30, and do end of day trading for an hour, hour and a half. But it's just, what are you looking to do when you're trading? If you're a day trader, if you're looking to scalp that 10, it all depends. Are you a scalper? Are you a longer intraday trader? What are you looking to make? Kind of put that all together. But that's just something to look at when you're doing that. If you don't want to trade that first hour of the day, you can pull up a scan, see what's kind of running, go map out those support and resistance levels, and then find your patterns. If there's a pattern that you like, look for your setup just like you would, at the open. As a day trader, you don't have to make a ton of trades per day. You don't need to do it. Or as a trader in general, you don't. It's find your setup, stick with it, and don't go chasing and trading setups that are not what your setup is. All right. So hopefully this video helped you. And I am going to end my stream this morning. Hope you guys all, this all helped you guys. Like I said, I recorded a few videos here for you guys today that I'm going to put into our day trading course. So did this help you guys at all today? Man, I recorded a lot. That was a lot of videos, a lot of talking. My brain is spent. I'm going to produce this video right now. Day trading stream solution broken down. What's up, peeps? I don't know if any of you guys were on Zoom listening. I just recorded a bunch for you guys today. Any of you guys have any questions, or any of you that were listening, if you were listening at all?
Just good. Yeah. I heard some of what you did.
You know what's funny? I actually had my volume down, so I can't hear. I'm like, man, nobody wants to talk to me anymore, but I didn't realize my volume was down.
Lucian's back.
Hey, what do you guys, why I have you guys on here? I want to hijack this for a moment just because I want your guys' help, because then I could get the stuff for you guys. I just did this for you guys this morning. I did one on pre-market scan, getting set up in the pre-market, scanning at the opening range, and then coming in after the first hour. Any of this stuff that you guys, these are some topics that we have already there. I'm just making some new videos for day trading. So I did a whole brand new basic course for you guys. I'm going to end the stream here on YouTube.